I'll do a bit of channeling. Again, all of us are going to be opened up and pressed into this frequency. Ria's going to do a bit of light language, so just let that frequency sort of sit and swim with you. I'll describe what's coming through to me, okay, so about their sort of civilization and how it kind of worked and how it was structured and etc. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to request that somebody comes forward that was a part of the Lemuria civilization, and then we'll do a bit of quantum practice sessions. So there'll be a mix of experience in the frequency, and you get to participate in it as well. So that's why it's always great if everybody can come along to participate live, because in sessions like this you get to participate as well.
But if you're watching us on replay, because we understand different time zones, etc., then by all means just participate as if you were live. Because one thing we know for sure, and again this is maybe for the new members, is that whatever we do energetically, it's almost like timeless, because time doesn't run through the quantum. It's the same way as distance healing works. So I'll give you an example. Last week I participated in something called Kundalini Awakening Process, which is a beautiful practice where it's also an energy transmission, but it's, yeah, I started doing some crazy movement, but, but it's also an energy transmission. But how does it work? And the person doing it explained it in a really good way. He said, like, you know, distance energy healing is basically, it works through the quantum. So it doesn't matter, the time doesn't matter. That's how energy could be transferred from us in Australia to you, let's say, in the west coast of the US. So it's incredible. So exactly the same way with time. Time is just a construct. So if you're watching it, it's just as good as life. So.
Absolutely. So, you know, what's great about these electronic sessions and being able to record stuff like this, it's timeless. So anybody, if people were to watch this 20 years into the future from an Earth perspective, you'd still be able to pick up on the energy and the frequency retained in the recording. So that it's like an energetic legacy that you create by recording these sessions. So it's just great, really. So yeah, if you're watching this remotely or you're watching it recording, you can participate.
In 20 years' time, they'll be laughing at us because every kid
I think we'll be laughing at us in 20 years.
Yeah, I think every child will just like have quantum on tap, and like rather than be passing like history or mathematics, they will be like, I don't know, telepathically. It would be like, I see reality like Star Wars.
Well, just look at the difference. Even going back, say, if we go back 30 years, like from a galactic perspective, 30 years is less than that, you know. And if we actually look back 30 years on this planet, so what do we know? That would be 1991, wouldn't it?
Don't tell me.
Go back to 1991. For those who are old enough to remember 1991, I'm sure, you know, I'm 41, so, you know, we're all at different ages. But, you know, if you go back to 1991 and just remember what it was like back then, or even 1981, in such a galactic, the space of time we've experienced is so short from a galactic perspective, but we've just come a million miles. So fast forward another 30 years, where are we going to be as a race? You know?
I think like we'll be heading the same way as Arcturians are heading. Rather than just technology progress, it will be consciousness technology. So we'll start tapping into all these telepathic gifts and, you know, like lifting objects. I honestly, I'm just fascinated by like the Jedis, and I feel like we all have this kind of ability within us. So, you know, yeah. So
anyway,
if I throw you up the wall, you know it's coming.
No,
it's like Kundalini.
Yeah.
No, your consciousness is too strong. But anyway, we're going to be connecting to Lemuria. We've got like quite pleasant vibes here. Maybe that's already Lemurian energy coming up.
That's just the watermelon.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I hope it's going to be a pleasant and really upbeat session. But you never know, those Lemurian Atlantean energies sometimes they're quite fast.
And again, whatever comes through, comes through. Some of you may find it emotional. Some of you will really begin to resonate with it. You know, perhaps you've not experienced the frequency for before, so this will be the first time for you. But it's all good. Just soak in it. You know, and it's and again, even with even if you feel a bit emotional, it's just kind of honor the emotions, really. And just enjoy the experience. This is all cool. And so you're going to get to experience the frequency. I'll start to channel when I get in there. So we're going to, I think I'm going to look at some of their civilization and how they lived and things like this. And then afterwards, we'll maintain this consciousness connection. And then what we're going to do is a bit of a practical session, because this is quantum practices.
Yes, Aeron will bring some surprises and challenges like he did last week.
Yeah, like the Arcturian one was pretty cool. Like I really enjoyed it.
I think I must have got on my own separate transmission.
Well,
I think what happened is my guides played a really practical joke on me. So,
what happened?
Well, I've got these 3 female Arcturian guides. So as everybody else was exercising and was given an object, I can't remember what you all got, because you got the pyramid or some kind of something fancy. Well, my guides planted in my consciousness, and they my 3 friends from university, they put this, oh my god, I'm laughing because they wouldn't be they put this kind of like fluffy animal like what Aeron, when he was on Arcturus, he tended to like these creatures. They like little like kind of creatures, and this is exactly what they've planted in my consciousness, and I'm laughing my head off because they just tricked me.
They played a practical joke on you.
Because I didn't follow your instructions. So today we all follow your instructions. Okay, you go.
Okay, so if we could just make yourselves comfy. So wherever you are, so just sit comfortably. It's like Jack and Ori, innit? Are we all sitting comfortably? Good, then we'll begin. So no, just sit comfortably. I don't
know, it's this Lemurian energy. I just feel so much like.
So we're like Lemurian energy. It's like the divine feminine. It's really kind of nurturing, caring, very feminine. So you know, even the males amongst us, Peter, and you know, any of the other guys and myself, feel the feminine energy. And for all the other females that are part of this group, really connect, you know, with your divine feminine, which is what the Lemurian frequency is. So, you know, just enjoy this experience. You know, I'm looking forward to it. So it's going to be really good. So if you can sit comfortably, and then what we'll do is we're going to elevate our consciousness together. And so I'll guide us in, and then I'm going to invite Ria to speak some Lemurian.
Me not on you.
Yeah, well, don't worry. And then what we'll do is we'll bathe in that frequency. We'll soak in that frequency. And then I'm going to really open up my consciousness, and it's wanting to come through now. So it's going to be there. It's going to be easy to access. And I'll start to look into it to describe their civilization. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to request one of them to step forwards. I don't know who that's going to be. And what we're going to do some quantum exercises with whoever comes forwards, similar to what we did with the Arcturians, but this is with Lemuria. So in the first instance, just close your eyes, just listen to my voice. And in the first instance, just take some cycles of breath, just as we usually do. So just in through your nose and out through your mouth. And these are just cleansing breaths. All the energy which isn't serving you in this moment is melting away on the out breath, on the out cycle. And just allow the energy to cleanse your energy centers as you pull it in from your root all the way up to your crown. And as you breathe out, anything which isn't serving you in this moment just melts away. Just do a couple more cycles of breath as we collectively set our intention that we are connecting into Lemuria consciousness and Lemuria frequency for a really, really amazing session. So just in this moment, I request frequencies of the highest, frequencies of the light, just to join us in this consciousness vortex that we've created here today. Come, 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 come. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just join us in this process. Join and guide us and protect us with your frequency and protect us with your light and your energy. It's much appreciated. Just to inform you what's going on, our collective intention is to connect to the Lemuria frequency and to experience what life was like, and to do some quantum practical exercises with our consciousness. So we just ask and humbly request that you protect us in this moment, that everybody's consciousness is safe and protected, and people feel comfortable to open up, and that we really, really begin to feel these energies. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if everybody present, if you could just send out a thank you into the field from your heart, just send out the feeling rather than the thought. Awesome. You're all doing brilliant. Okay. So in this moment, I'm going to request if you just all hold space and just perform cycles of your breath. I'm just going to request that Ria now begins to speak some Lemurian, and we really begin to press into the frequency as it comes through. Don't listen to the words, feel the energy and feel the frequency in this transmission.
I've already been feeling those energies, so how I see it, normally when I ground to earth, I think of earth, and as Lemurian energy is starting to come through, I've been reminded that Gaia is not just soil, it's also water, so I almost feel like I'm, rather than normally like a pillar of energy, I feel like there's like a massive beam of wave coming through, so that's just how it's depicted. So let me just speak the language. Inamala ede o katiama seda ara teama e kanamaneno a ea u akitia vare e duru enamare nea ai uku ea akiyama e kiyama e asate e asuru a e akunuma ale atayasu shi udukasema ala ea kudeyama ute e a ase inama Ela kutikia bu ea zeda amash. So ea hatia atakue esama shita aleda. Nea ma une e kutu ea. Kia barete amase edamane iua ea a. Mea a iudua ema aikuya a. Meda a me ena a. Nema a ukatea ma amane eda. Ia ma'a e katama'a, sheta asua e ase e nama atekia ama.
Okay, so I'm pressing into the frequencies. Just allow the frequency to permeate through every single cell of your being. While I'm opening up and pressing into this, and my intention is to look at their civilization and how they used to live. And I can see crystal obelisks. They used to use crystal as technology, and they used to capture energy through these crystalline obelisks, which captured energy of the light, and also there was energy within the water which they could capture as frequency. And the taller these obelisks, there were many of them, and the taller these obelisks, the more power and the more charge and the stronger their connection to source. They were very conscious, they were very open, they were very spiritually aware and awakened. And when unfortunately the end of the civilization came about, unfortunately a lot of this technology and a lot of consciousness technology was lost. Humanity is beginning to find its way again and is slowly beginning to discover. But we have much to go. We have much to go when it comes to technology. There were sort of extraterrestrial or light beings that assisted Lemurians with technology. I can see pyramids. I can see like pyramids with water going around, and there was big like I want to say canals, like big, massive, like canals that went through. They were like stone architecture, and it fed down and around these pyramids. I can see a big. It's like the Great Pyramid. It's huge, and around it there's like a moat, which is the same width as this canal. And each side of the pyramid, on the west and on the east, there's these huge crystal obelisks, like these needles, these big crystalline needles. And the color is, it's like a ruby, it's a mixture between like a ruby color and a black on the east side, and on the west side it's like a blue, like I don't want to say, it's a mixture between turquoise and like a royal blue, like a really deep, rich blue. And the sides of these obelisks are polished. They're like smooth and shine, smooth to the touch, like smooth and perfectly finished. And these crystalline obelisks were cut with sound, cut with frequency. It's like it's like they've developed technology, or technology was given to them, that was able to carve things so precisely with sound waves that they could create these huge structures. They could levitate these into positions. So just like in nowadays we have on construction sites, you have these big hydraulic cranes and things lifting things. They didn't really have machinery like this, but they understood the elements, and they understood how to harness like ethereal technology is what I'm getting. And part of this was sound waves, and they had sort of cutting devices that used sound frequency that was vibrating at such a pitch that it could actually cut through things like crystal and rock. They could levitate rocks and structures. That's how they erected these huge obelisks. And the purpose of these obelisks was to harness energy. It's almost like they absorb, the higher they are, the more frequency and the more light and the more energy they can absorb from the environment. And this can be channeled in various ways. It can either be channeled to open up, it can be used as power, for instance, to drive things. They could utilize this power, depending on how they diverted the energy, to open up their connection to source. So they were very, very connected, but they sort of it kind of ran away from themselves. It was almost like they were almost there. They were almost there to like, God, I'm feeling the frustration, I'm feeling the pain, because like they almost made it, and then human nature took over. So like, I'm getting quite upset because like with the Galactic Federation, humanity should have taken its seat. Humanity should have taken its seat. And there was resistance. There was resistance at the Galactic Federation because we needed to ascend our consciousness and prove that we were kind of worthy almost to take our seat. And there were races which came down to assist humanity. And the Lemurians they were almost there. And then human nature kind of sabotaged it at the last minute. It was all that then became about self. The ego took over. They started feeling like they were better, like they were superior to other races. And the whole thing then started to topple. But like if the ego hadn't taken over, I'm feeling like this is the emotion, the trauma, the pain of this collective lesson. Like they look back now as a collective consciousness that still exists, by the way. They look back as a collective consciousness, and they know how close they came, and they can see that it was just the ego and the self which just took over. Unfortunately, at the last minute, they almost made it. If it had been different with Lemuria, humanity would have ascended its consciousness. Their civilizations would still exist on Earth now, and we would be a part of the Galactic Federation. It would have completely shifted the trajectory of the timelines and the trajectory that humans would have been on. We just shifted into a different, like the Earth shifted into a different trajectory and timeline from that moment. But the world as we know it would be very, very, very different now. If they had made it, they almost made it. Now I'm coming down and I'm looking at their civilization, and you're doing brilliantly. Hold this space and just soak in this frequency. Perhaps some of you are feeling this as well. Now I'm coming down and I can see the structures that they had within this. It was like a matriarchal society. So women were kind of leading that. That's why the whole essence of this energy is protective. That's why when you hear the language and the frequency behind it, it's very, very, very feminine and protective, but fierce and strong at the same time. So it's not like feminine as in weak, but it's feminine as in strong. We're very, very strong and capable and competent and technologically advanced. Everything was fair within their society. So there was, wasn't, when they made decisions, they did it collectively for the benefit of the whole race. It wasn't okay, what benefits self? What benefits me from resources perspective? And it wasn't like a case of grabbing resources. Every decision that they made was for the benefit. How would it benefit the society? So in a way, the whole society was governed in a very, very fair and caring way. And like I say, they were very, very technologically advanced. They used water like a lot. So that like when it comes to water, not only was energy harvested from the water, but obviously water was very, very important to them. And I feel like what's coming through, they used to have a god of the water. Like there was like just obviously within Roman times and Greek times, they had different gods. There was a god of war, there was a god of this and a god of that. But I really feel like the Lemurians had a god of the water. Like there was they understood that the water had an essence, and that this was something that was so revered. It was almost like it was like a god to them. And coming forward now, I can see like when they used to eat together, there used to be everything was kind of shared. They used to eat communally. Neighbors used to eat with neighbors, so not like it is in society nowadays, where you can have 1,000 houses in a neighborhood, and if each one of those are individual houses, pardon me, that eats separately, that keeps themselves separate and locks themselves away from their neighbor, and it's all about this little kind of family unit. Within these neighborhoods in Lemuria, like people used to eat together. There was communal breaking of bread, like specifically, like there would be outdoor areas where they would all gather and they would all eat together, and it was like a real community. There was community cohesion. Everybody got along. There was no crime. There was no prisons at that point, because everybody. There was no. Again, there was no self. There was no ego. It was all about what was better for their society. And that's why they nearly made it. That's why they were so close to this ascension. But literally, it was like almost like human nature kind of sabotaged it and kind of stopped it, really. And that's how it started to fall apart, and it all kind of crumbled spectacularly. It's like I'm seeing like a house of cards, and it's almost as if the foundational aspects of their society were eroded to the point where the corner went, and all of a sudden it just toppled and it just came down, unfortunately. And it's really sad, because I can feel like there's a real remorse and just a sense of sadness, because they are sad at how close they came, but they collectively have learned the lesson of that. And that's one of the reasons why they're happy to come through in sessions like this. They're happy to come through to anybody who's an Earth seed, or anybody who descends from Lemuria or even Atlantis. I know there was huge conflict and they clashed. But both of those civilizations have kind of learned from their experiences, and they're kind of almost like consciously making amends of it. They understand that there was a lot of karma which was created for the Earth. And again, there's not a regret, but there's just a sadness. There's just a sadness and understanding of what happened, but there's an understanding of what happened. And they've kind of learned that lesson. Their civilization is very clean, very beautiful, lots and lots of waterways everywhere. I'm just seeing waterways through these neighborhoods. And it was almost like these canals were in geometric shapes that I can see going around the place. So they were kind of like, if you had a bird's eye view looking down, they were like canals in shapes of pyramids and Merkabahs and sacred geometry shapes. And it was beautiful. If you had like a bird's eye view looking down, it would be a complete wonder. And there were these pyramids which were in specific points. And next to each pyramids were different heights, depending on what the purpose of that pyramid was, but then the obelisks next to them corresponded with the height of the pyramids. So different height pyramid in a different place, and the obelisks would have been smaller or bigger depending on the size of the pyramid. And each pyramid had a specific task. It was in a specific location for a reason, and it was something aligned with star constellations and creating something to do with the distance of the frequency coming from these obelisks. It was like perfect architecture, but this was technology which was, I don't want to say given to them, because it was developed alongside, but but there was extraterrestrial races that came down that really wanted humanity to take its place and were really helping with things like technology. And I feel like these crystalline or obelisks where they were harvesting energy, not just from the air and the water and the cosmos and consciousness, this was given to them, this technology was given to them by extraterrestrials that came down. And it almost worked. That's the collective sadness, it almost worked. But we now, as a race, we are at a point where it's almost our time again. We're like, honestly, I can't tell you the similarities between what's about to happen. So like on Earth, what they're showing me is like we are almost at that point where we've nearly made it now on Earth, okay? And as long as we continue on this trajectory of where we're going to, we're going to make it. And it's almost like the Lemurians are cheering us on. They're cheering us on. They're like, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it. You're there, you're there, you're there, go for it. It's like they're really behind us because they can see how close we are. And it's almost like they're almost urging us, don't stuff it up like we stuffed it up. Don't mess it up like we messed it up, because they've learned from their mistakes. They can see where they went wrong, although they couldn't see it at the time. But they can see what they went through and they're like, don't stuff it up. You're nearly there, go for it, go for it, go for it. And there's a collective push. And you can probably feel this. I can feel it surging in my body and my arms now. This is just the enthusiasm. They're like, go for it, just go for it, go, 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 go. And we're nearly there, guys. We're nearly there. Like, honestly, we're nearly there. And it's almost like us ascending with the Lemurians and other races helping us as well. It almost attains for what they went through. It's almost like they're paying their dues for the karma they created by trying to push us on consciously. You can probably feel this now. You can probably feel, oh, go for it, go for it, go for it. Like we are literally there, guys. We are literally just there. So, oh, wow. Okay. So what I'm going to do, oh my goodness, my ears are ringing. Let me calm down a minute. Goodness me. It's that energy, my God. Okay. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to, whoa, just calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. God, they're so enthusiastic. It's like, whoa, I feel it in my chest. So, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Just calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Just take a step back. Just take a step back for me. Thank you. I can feel the energy. Thank you so much. I totally get your message. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. But if you could just take a step back for me. Just wait there for me. That's great. Thank you. It's just becoming a bit overwhelming. Okay. So what I'm going to do now for the practical